So let's get to some of the actionable steps that you can actually do to either prevent this, or if you do get into one of these situations, how you can find a good resolution. So the first thing, and just a reminder, this is all typically about when you are moving addresses, right? So that is the most common time when a verification is going to occur, is that, or you start setting up a new one to begin with, and you don't have an address at all. So the first thing I will recommend is that you get an actual physical office location with a street address. No PO boxes, no WeWorks, no co-working spaces, shared office spaces, stuff like that. A couple of years ago, this is the kind of the playbook that everybody used, was go to a co-working space and put their address there. Google's really wised up to that. They understand that's how people are abusing this system. And so essentially, if you are putting yourself in a shared workspace now in 2024, it's going to get flagged. And if it doesn't, it will likely soon, because I don't see any situation, or at least in the the near term future, that they're going to kind of revoke this stance and say that co-working spaces are now okay. I think it goes against everything they've done in this space. So it is enticing to, especially when you're trying to scale, or you see opportunities in other city locations, to say, well, we'll just get a virtual office in those locations. I would argue there are better, different strategies if you don't want to actually pay for an office. How you can use SEO to accomplish that and get a presence in an area where you're not physically located. Advertising also is a great way to do that. But if you are planning on going into a market, you are going to need a physical space, right? That's the absolute best way to do it. And even then, we're still seeing scrutiny given to our clients in some cases. So whether you are getting up a new Google business profile from the start, or doing your transition, before you apply for that change and switch them in Google business profile, you have to make sure your documentation is in order. You need documentation that states that your business is going to be located at this new address. So I'm talking state business registration documents, lease agreements, utility bills, any other bills or things like that at the new location. And this is essential for proving your case that you are physically located at these locations. The business registration is probably the best one. That has done the trick a lot, because it's kind of the ultimate authority in that world of documentation. So get all of that stuff prepped before you go in, because they will almost 100% ask for this prior to doing a video verification. They'll try to check you through here, and you want to make sure to have all of that in order. If you go through, give all the documentation, and they then do want to do a video verification, sometimes they're bypassing the documentation altogether and just saying, hey, we want to do a video verification. Then this next one is essential. It's establishing signage at your business. So this could be on the door, it could be on the hallway, it could be out on the street. When I was doing a recent video review or video verification, I had to walk all the way from the street to show street signs, take them through the parking lot, go in and show the signage on the outside exterior. I then had to show that I could put the key in, unlock it, went inside, basically showing all of the the real business things that were happening along with signage. So signage is like kind of a key one that is very commonly asked for. It's typically always asked for in these video verifications to show it. So it doesn't have to break the bank, but you need to have it up. It needs to look semi-official, right? Not just a piece of paper or handwritten or something like that. Something that actually shows your business is a physical tenant of that location. Next one we want to do is update your address as many places as possible online as you can before going in and making that swap. So this includes your website, any directories that you have personal access to, social media, and then you can actually do a more broad action on this by using a citation syndicator. Bright Local has this service where you can effectively give them your new address, and it's going to distribute this information to 4 or 5 of the big gateways of data that are going to populate hundreds and hundreds of map and directory services online. That is a great way to do it. It takes a little bit of time, but it's pretty inexpensive, about $100, and then you get to broadcast that information out there, and you want to do it anyway. So the sooner the better, and that will start to fix any of those errors, because we do know from and this is the next point, that you want to do some citation cleanup. So you want to go and look for any of these directory locations or places that your business information is listed on the internet, and try to get it fixed. Try to get it changed to that new address. Make yourself a list, have an assistant go through and do some of that work of going and just contacting the website and saying, hey, this is no longer our address. How do I go about and get this updated? Because we got an interesting nugget after one of our last verifications. They came back to us with a specific citation that they were concerned about, or thought was proof that this address verification was not legitimate. And they had actually were pulling information from the Chamber of Commerce website in that area. And so I found that pretty interesting, because we don't really get a lot of good details from Google as to what criteria they're looking for when they approve or don't approve of one of these address changes. They just say, nope, doesn't meet the requirements. And so for them to give us that shows me that, one, I would make sure, you are set up correctly with your Chamber of Commerce, because we know they're going to those to look at your business information, and any other kind of local links that you can get that they're official, right? So if you're set up with the bar in your state, in the bar directory, make sure your address has been changed. Anything like that is going to be potentially a big deal. And so in the context of lawyers, some of the most important directories are going to be those law firm directories, the big box marketers you know and love, like FindLaw and Avo and some of those folks. It is a great idea to make sure that your business information is accurate up there, and generally that's not a problem, because they'll get to that pretty quickly, because they want their system to be accurate as well. So typically not a big problem.